what we all need to do today is go on to Twitter or Facebook or whatever service you have and hashtag Cuba Freedom. Cuba Freedom. This is the best story coming out of Cuba, I think, in a very long time. And because America, Joe Biden's like, you know what? They're protesting because of COVID virus. That's what they're doing is they're protesting against. No, they're not. Listen to what they're shouting in the streets. Listen to them. I don't understand. Check another crowd. What are they saying? Crowd. Okay, what is this one? I still can't quite make it out there. I think they're saying maybe a leotard. Leotard. Is that what they're saying? Leotard? Yeah. I don't know why they're chanting. It's not leotard. Oh, it's Spanish for freedom. Huh. Well, who would have guessed that? So our government is describing them as anti-government. No, I don't think they are. You know who's anti-government? Antifa. They're anti-government. They want to abolish all government. Okay? They're anti-government. I think the people in Cuba are anti-communist, fascistic, totalitarian government. I think that's the difference. They're not saying, give me liberty with no government. No, they're not saying that. They're saying, hey, government's out of control. How about we get rid of the dictators? That's what they're saying. No more communism. Hey, the socialized healthcare system, not really working out for us. I think that's what they're saying. And America's voice should be very clear. To the Cuban people, we support you. We are fighting what you fought for the last few decades. We are fighting the beginnings of it here. We support you. We need your support as well. There are people who are raising their hands in the air all over the world, screaming for liberty and freedom. There is a group of people from Hong Kong to Washington, D.C., to Havana, all over the world. Freedom from oppressive governments. We support you. You know, unfortunately, I think so many Americans have forgotten what America means to people overseas. I was in the mall last week. Yeah, apparently they still exist. I went to the mall last week, had to pick something up, and I'm walking through a store, and this woman comes racing up to me, and she's like, "You're Glenn Beck," and I'm like, What?
Are you serious?
Me? Oh my gosh, I love me. Anyway, she says, "You're Glenn Beck," and I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." She had a heavy accent. She was from Poland. She said the same thing that everyone from behind the Iron Curtain or every Cuban or every Venezuelan has said to me in the last 15 years. What's wrong with America? We came here for freedom. Don't you guys realize there's no place to go after this? Where are we going after this? I escaped from that. Meanwhile, our government officials are meeting with Nicolas Maduro. Top officials of the Democratic Socialists of America met with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on Friday. The chairperson of the National Political Committee of the DSA. Now, see, you know what's weird is the DSA was like, no, we want Sweden. Then why aren't they over in Sweden? Talking to the prime minister of Sweden, who's like, by the way, we're not a socialist country. I just want you to know that. They say they wanted Sweden. They don't want what's happening in Venezuela. Why then are you talking to the dictator of Venezuela? Why are you doing that if that's not what you want? By the way, the DSA tweeted out broad support for movements for democracy and socialism in Venezuela. So does that mean, were they going to Maduro to say, hey, by the way, we're against you? We're for the support of democracy and letting the people's voice actually be heard and not squashed. I'm not sure what they were doing there. By the way, the Cuban president urges the country's revolutionary citizens to counter the protesters, which is always going to lead to something very, 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 very good. Very good. To have the revolutionaries join in and counter the protesters in the street. He's calling for chaos. I told you back in 2008, chaos is going to be the key word of the future, and it is chaos. If you see anything that is chaotic, you see anybody's plan that encourages more chaos, stay away from it. Stay away from it. Market poison. You know, there's a movement going on now that I don't think anybody is reporting on. And that movement is all of these people who used to think that they were liberals and they were on the side of the liberal left. They haven't come over to the Donald Trump side. Some actually have. But a lot of people are moving and saying, I don't want to be a part of that. They're looking for something. They don't think that it's the conservative movement because the conservative movement isn't speaking clearly what we are. Here's what we are. We believe that all men, black, white, yellow, brown, purple, male, female, homosexual, straight, whatever your choice is, all people are created and they are given by that creator rights. I don't tell you what those rights are. Government doesn't tell you what those rights are. Government doesn't define the rights or publish new rights. All of your rights come from something so far above that no man can touch or alter them. I like to call them inalienable rights. So when you see oppression, you're not anti-government. You're anti-authoritarianism. Because governments are instituted among men to protect the rights of every individual. And the one way you cannot protect rights is take it from some individuals and not others. You can't have special categories, special rights, special privileges. That's somebody taking the rights that come from way beyond them and they're trying to curtail. They're trying to rewrite. That's not their job. I can't rewrite your right to free speech. I can't do it. I have no power. No right given to me it gives me power to control your life. So then how could I create a government that does that? Answer, I can't. The government is out of control. I can't give my right to the government to go take stuff from one group of people and not another, to take rights from one group to another. I can't do it because I don't have that right, so I can't give it to the government. So who's producing rights? Always the government. Always the government is limiting rights for you and printing rights for them. This is what's happened throughout the history of man. And it is the fight against that. And it is an ebb and flow. Sometimes we're good, sometimes we're bad. Because people, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Sometimes they're confused. Sometimes you don't even know what's right and wrong. How many people are like that now? That's why you have to be very clear on who you are. I stand with you if you stand with the Bill of Rights for all men, even those that you really don't like. You stand for those rights. I've got your back. I have your side. I'll even take a few bullets for you. That's what we stand for. That's what America is. And that is exactly what the Cuban people want.